Here we go. Hey everybody, this is Richard, and we are back with Beyond the Wall and the Caverns of Thracia. We are playing Beyond the Wall, and it started with the wonderful Hidden Cult scenario pack, which has sort of led us into the Caverns of Thracia, a great module by Janelle Jacques from 1979. With me are four great players. We're missing the last of a fallen house tonight. Keith had a conflict from work and could not be here. But I'd like them to introduce themselves, then we'll recap, and then I have a few questions for them. And I am going to start on the left side of my screen with Bethany.
Hi, I'm playing Morrain, who is the would-be knight. She's convinced that if she is just brave and helpful enough, she can make up for her family's bad reputation, and is therefore prone to, jumping in and protecting people whether they want it or not.
I think that's good. Anything else you want to add, and we'll come back to recapping from last couple of weeks in a moment. Next, going left to right on my screen is Brian, who's playing Constant Sorrow.
Yes, so Constant Sorrow is a foundling, a fey foundling. But he's been more or less accepted by the village. He was adopted by an extremely friendly family of fisher folk who he gets along with and who support him. With a little help from his friends, he's managed to get by on those tough times when the village was looking for a scapegoat, which is an especially unfortunate word considering he has tiny horns on his head.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, going left to right, is Larry, playing Lylani.
Hello. Lylani is an untested thief who's itching to be tested. Her hobbies include uninvited nocturnal visits to other people's houses. And I'm going to leave it at that for right now.
Right, okay. And then finally, Afra, the devout acolyte.
All right. So I'm Ryan. I'm playing Afra, the devout acolyte. And Afra is, or was anyway, an ordinary villager until she discovered an abandoned shrine out in the woods. And now she is devoted to the goddess Aurora, who's the goddess of healing and light. And she has been tasked with fighting the forces of darkness, which I think at this point is coming to us in the form of Thanatos, perhaps, which I guess we'll talk more about in the recap.
Nice. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start kind of snaking backwards, and I'm going to pick on Ryan first. Ryan, could you summarize like 3 or 4 things that have happened? Just 2 or sorry, it's 3 or 4 is not the word I was meant to say. 2 or 3 things that have happened so far that have stuck out as important to Lylani. A few nights ago, in the midst of a lot of strange omens and things going on in the town inn caught fire. And sort of what did Lylani, or sorry, not Lylani, Afra, apologies. What is stuck out to Afra about that event and about things leading up to that event as especially important? And I'll hand that over to you.
So I know, so last time I'm not so sure about the what led up to the kind of the events that stuck out leading up to that. I mean, leading up to that, we had discussed previously the flood coming through the town, or maybe just down the river, turning the river red, and Afra using that river water to treat some flowers that had grown and creating these kind of healing salves. Do you want me to address what happened since the fire, or just up to it?
Things that are important to you and Afra. Sorry.
Up to the fire.
Or during or after.
Okay. So I think since the fire, what's been really important to Afra is Afra and I can't remember. Oh, Darian. Afra and Darian had escorted a couple of the elders back to their home after the fire, and Afra had actually glimpsed what we think is Thanatos, kind of threatening one of the elders, which is, of course, stuck out to Afra. Although I think at the time she didn't realize what was going on until she got back to her friends and actually started talking about it. But I think that's probably the biggest thing that stuck out as this kind of discovery of Thanatos and the disappearance of Elda, who she'd been helping out up to this point, kind of trusted, and now she seems kind of suspect. So those are probably the two biggest things that stick out to Afra.
And that was the widow Elda, who
Yes.
somebody a lot of people in town helped out, but who acted mysterious just before the fire, the day before the fire, and then just suddenly disappeared the night after the fire. And we'll snake back to Lylani, the actual Lylani. Sorry to misname the two of you there. And what are just a few things that have stuck out about the current events to Lylani?
Well, number one, Tad, who is not only my good friend but also my fiance, has disappeared along with lots of the other villagers, which is a cause of great concern, and actually propelled me to jump into the river after one of these dog creatures and confront him with my blade. And he was so impressed with my display of courage that he provided us with some interesting information. Like I think like the dog people, like they're also like members of their community are also disappearing. And then he fingered the widow Elda as the potential culprit behind all of this, these mysterious happenings. So yeah, that was all because of Lylani. She pretty much just took the bull by the horns. So I'm just teasing. Yeah, so those are. Oh, and then of course, Lylani and why can't I find the Darian? Is that I'm pronouncing that right? Darian. We like ran into his cousin Xenia, who was acting really peculiar. Followed her to. Oh crap! I forgot where we followed her to. Was it the Smith's house? No. Yes. There was a tapestry on the wall. Where was that?
It was the Smith's house.
It was
The
a Smith's
tapestry
house.
was at the widow's house, though.
The widow's
Oh,
house.
you're right. You're right. We followed it there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, and that, I don't want to jump ahead because someone else maybe wanted to offer this part, but like, you know, we went, like that we magically transported. I'll let someone else describe that part.
All right. Let's move over to Constant Sorrow.
Well, some important things that happened for me were there had been a time when let's see, a girl had gone missing, and I had been accused of being involved in the disappearance. And Darian had spoken up on my behalf. And when the waters rose recently and the river ran as blood, her daughter, no, or was it her mother? What is Gila's relationship to the person that disappeared? I forgot.
First, her baby disappeared, and then she disappeared.
And then she disappeared. That's what it was. Yeah, the baby disappeared first. And then Gila herself disappeared. So we were trying to, my family and my friend, we were all trying to find her, but having no luck. And in the process of that, we noticed that the widow was acting a little strangely, and I perceived what looked to me like some kind of a revenant or a spirit walking behind her, which put her on my radar. And we were, getting ready to have a conversation about all the weird stuff going on in town when suddenly the inn was on fire, and then things started happening very quickly. So yeah, now we've stepped through a tapestry, like you do, and we find ourselves where are we, Richard? What's happening?
Let's check in really quickly, or not to, Morrain, what stuck out to you as details?
See, okay, so I also saw the wizard, not the wizard, the widow Elda acting. Well, no, I heard the widow Elda acting strangely because I didn't actually see her. But in retrospect, whoever she was talking to must have come through the tapestry and then left through it also, or at least left through it. Let's see. While the inn was burning, the villagers saw one of the dog people and ran after her and beat her to death, assuming that she had been the one to burn the inn. But that doesn't seem to be the case now, because we caught up with her brother who was trying to escape across the river. He told us there was a temple to Thanatos, I think somewhere on the mountain or near the mountain or in the general direction of the mountain. And that was news to us. Also, as I think someone said, accused the widow of being the person who opened that temple. And a bunch of the villagers disappeared. During this time that the inn was on fire, we thought that the dog people had kidnapped them, but again, that does not seem to be what happened. But it's also unlikely that the widow kidnapped everybody. And then, let's see. Xenia seemed to be brainwashed. Maybe she was acting very strangely. She was dragging Hilda along, who seemed to be drugged, and then when Lylani and Darian caught up with her, she just cut her and got the blood and ran off. And that's how we figured out the tapestry, because when we got there's a bloody handprint, and we eventually figured out that it had to be activated with a spellcaster's blood, I think. At least that's the conclusion we've come to so far, because that's the only thing that worked for us.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's caught us up to where we are now.
Awesome. So just to tell you a couple of things that I should have sent to you beforehand, and then so I'm going to actually have you do this really briefly before we go. You have leveled up to 2.
Oh.
Which I should have told you beforehand, but luckily that's not hard. I'm just putting the playbook folder again if you need it. And the directions for labeling up will be in your playbook. I just put that again in the Hangouts chat.
All right.
Apologies for not sending that out sooner. Your hit points are not, your wounds are not healed if you've taken damage, but both your current, whatever you roll for your new hit die will apply to both your current and your maximum hit points. So if normal maximum is 7 and you have 5 and you're rolling a d8, whatever you get will add to both the current and the maximum. Also, your fortune points are entirely recovered because those are a session. I'm using those as a session reward rather than a encounter or a adventure reward.
Okay.
You can check how your level up affects your saving throws, but I think it should not affect anything for most of you. Afra and Constant Sorry, it will give you 1 additional spell slot, but you don't automatically learn new spells since you're not in a place where you can really look up and do research right now while you're
right.
up.
Okay.
I think normally they would suggest finishing an entire playbook, but I sort of used a scenario pack. But I used a scenario pack to sort of introduce a module. So if you all want to do that, and then I have a question for each of you.
One thing I'm curious about is, and I'll look it up right now, but it says that you can, some classes at least can gain additional knacks. Is that just for fighters?
I believe that's just for fighters. And it should tell you in your playbook how often that happens.
Yeah, that's a cool little thing.
If not, I can look it up really fast. I've got the book right here. In fact, I will, since I think only fighters get knacks. Everybody else has class abilities other than knacks.
I get a knack.
At second level?
At first.
At first, right? Okay.
But I don't think I don't.
But you are a fighter
one.
mage.
True. Yeah.
As the foundling is a fighter mage.
That's a good point.
Scan down real quick. Yeah, that you as a warrior, you wouldn't get, if you get knacks, you wouldn't get another one until 3rd, 6th, and you get them at every 3rd level.
That makes sense.
Well, you get them at 1, 3, 6, and 9.
All right.
And then Lylani, I think yours. You'll get a different. You'll get a new skill of your choice at 3rd level, and then Afra, and you'll get the same thing with knacks for you, Morrain, Afra. I think you still have the normal chances of casting spells, and you just have extra spell slots. And then all of you, well, actually at 2nd level, most of you will have the same saving throws you had. So all you got to really do is kind of worry about your new hit points.
All right. I'll roll a d8, see what comes up.
You sound so resigned, Brian.
I just
like even before you roll.
See, and that's my wife would say that is the problem. That is the cause of the low roll. But I can't get past it. Let's just make it happen.
Yeah,
a 7. It worked out great.
I don't think it's the.
I don't think so either.
The cause of the low roll. I think the evilness of dice And I just put our die roller. If you want our die roller in there, please feel free to roll your own dice if you feel like that's faster for you. Everybody in good shape for second level?
Does everyone roll a d8 for hit die?
You roll a D10.
Sorry, I missed it.
You
cool.
and Darian roll a d10. I think everybody else, I think Constant Sarah and Lylani roll a d8, and then Afra rolls a d6, I believe.
That's
Can you
correct.
just add it to your current hit points, or?
And just add it. You can also add your con bonus if you have one.
Oh, do I have one? I think I do.
Lylani, I won't make you remove your con bonus because I'm nice, and I would feel bad making you do that.
I just rolled a 1 on my my hit dice thing, so
I'm definitely not making you apply that -1.
Oh, that would be bad.
Develop a bad cop. Oh, that's terrible.
That'd be funny if I lost hit points when I leveled up.
Right.
Sad.
Right.
He was skilled, but the consumption got to him.
Very, very skilled, but consumption, man, that's rough.
Like Doc Holliday. Yeah.
Hit points go down every time you level up. So finally you die at level 10 or something. And it would be kind of interesting to have just like a doomed character.
Yeah. Benjamin
It's more
Button, the RPG.
powerful, but also
Very, very
It's a
frail.
little like, you're constantly diminishing luck score in Dungeon Crawl Classics, so.
Oh, yeah, that is true, actually.
All right.
Huh.
Hey, Rich, I got a quick question about a spell that Afra has.
Yes.
Since we're not using alignment, my circle of protection is effective against chaotic aligned creatures.
I will sort of wing that.
Okay.
And you can. And what does it say? What does it say counts as a cat? Does it count as all chaotic aligned creatures?
Yeah, it says any creature with a chaotic alignment may not enter the circle.
Okay.
So do I have any idea what types of creatures it might affect?
I would say evil cultist would be affected.
That'll work.
And then I would generally say that people who are spitefully out to harm you would be affected. People who are just, out to harm you for mistaken but otherwise just reasons would not necessarily. Does that make sense?
Totally, yeah. Basically, malicious intent.
Right. If somebody is just out to harm you because it seems like fun, that I'll count that as outside the circle of protection. Especially if they're prone to doing that anyway. But yeah, evil cultist, vicious extraplanar entities, things aligned with evil cultist, but no bears. Bears, cats, yes, but not bears.
Are you foreshadowing right now? Or
no. So when we run into a bear in about 5 minutes.
Don't even bother with a circle.
The bear people are not until level 5. I don't think we can get there.
Bears are scary. They didn't used to be, and then I saw that movie. Was it
Revenant?
Oh my god, now I'm terrified of bears. I literally still have nightmares about bears. Afraid to camp. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get scared of bears until I started seeing pictures of, bears in the wilderness close to people, and then I would read about what happened to the people they got close to, and I was like, no, that's never good.
No, they look adorable, but then they're not.
They look adorable until you see them run. Then they are friggin' scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't particularly scared of him until I saw the documentary Grizzly Man. And
oh, yeah.
I'm really glad we don't have bears that size here.
Right. Like, yeah. But black bears can be pretty vicious. They're just not quite as fearless.
Yeah, they're unlikely to come after you, planning to eat you at least.
Right. You have a chance of scaring off a black bear. A thin chance, but still a chance.
But don't get between them and pizza.
Oh no.
That's what they actually use to trap them in Florida. Like nuisance bears, they use pizza. Mm-hmm.
That would be terrible. That would totally work on me.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, what's this? Oh, again.
You find yourself in a culvert trap and the gate comes down, you'll know.
Oh,
It works on the Appalachian black bear, the Florida bear, and the Chicago bear.
That's right. Indeed.
All right. So, real quick question for each of you. Could you name somebody that you're certain is in the cult because you've never liked them? And then somebody who you're afraid is in the cult because you've always liked them, but joining a cult seems like the thing they would do. Give everybody a second to think about that question, and then I'm going to start, just so you know where I'm starting in the chain. I'm going to start with Constant Sorrow.
All right. Let's see. Somebody who I think might be in the cult is Mr. What's his name? Sandelson?
Sandolph.
Yeah, Mr. Sandolph. He thinks he does protest too much. Yeah, so I suspect him as a possible cultist, and I worry that Afra might be in a cult because she's been very spiritual lately, and I don't know. She disappears into the woods. It's culty behavior. I hope I don't know. I don't know.
And just to clarify, this does not have to be people we've met so far.
Well, that's no fun.
I've got terrible plans for the people you've met so far. Morrain.
Let's see. I think Trey might be in the cult.
Okay.
I really don't like him, and it's kind of for a stupid thing because he used to be a total jerk. He's grown out of it. Morrain has not shifted her view of him, so she just expects him to be a jerk still. Let's see, who am I afraid might?
And these can be new people if you just want to pull up a name generator.
Okay, I think I will because the obvious answer there is Darian's cousin, but we kind of already know about her, so.
Right.
Where's the random name?
And I'll throw one up in our chat just if people feel inspired to nab from it. But don't let it limit you.
Let's see. I am afraid that Connell might be in the cult.
Connell?
Yeah.
Why do you like Connell?
That is a good question. Wow, that's a really weird question to suddenly get stuck on. What do you like? Connell is. Oh, yeah. So the thing about Connell is that, like, he's an old friend of mine, but he's kind of like the sort of quiet weirdo that people would expect to do something like join a cult, and I've defended him since we were children, and I'm worried that people might be right about him.
All right. Sounds good. Lylani, someone you've never liked who you're sure is in the cult, besides your father-in-law.
Right. Well, yeah, I want to second Sandolph, and I also want to second Trey. He is a jerk, and I don't think he grew out of it, and he doesn't deserve Tad's affection.
Right. Just become more subtle.
Yeah.
That has bad taste.
I know, it's so tragic. I'm gonna add I don't want to create anybody, so I'm just gonna add Gratis. He's the rich merchant that I robbed and who suspects me of robbing him.
Okay.
This seems like right up his alley. Like he's just like into power, and he probably would see like the cult as a way of like enhancing its power and sphere of influence, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And I'm worried about Tad because he is so smitten with Trey that I'm worried that, like, did Trey talk him into something? Tad is very susceptible to being influenced. So I'm, God forbid, Trey like brainwashed him or something.
Right. Okay. And finally, Afra.
I think so. There are twin brothers who live in the village. One is named Rankin, and one is named Garen. And so Rankin is always picking on Afra. He's kind of a bully. And so that's the person that she doesn't like and suspects is in the cult. But she's afraid that Garen, who actually stands up to his brother when he's picking on her, and she's kind of got a little crush on him, she's afraid that maybe his brother's kind of bullied him into this cult as well.
All right. So you guys have just appeared on this kind of flat surface around the edge of a mountain. You can see the map, I think, on sheet 2 of the character keeper. It's not necessarily jungle, just forest. You can see, along the edge of the mountain, where it says swamp, just treat that as thick grassland. Area of especially intense trees. The area is overgrown, but looks like it was fairly recently cleared away. And you can see the remains of old stone streets or walkways of some sort. And you see, with trees breaking through the foundations, the old foundations of several buildings. And you're about in the middle of that sort of foundation that just says A. And again, those things that look like trees actually are. They're sort of coming up through the foundation, trees and shrubs and other large plants. You can see kind of off of the edge another foundation that would be D in front of you. You don't see much behind you except for trees. And you do see some stone stairways. This was clearly not instantaneous transfer because the sun is coming up. It was barely midnight when you disappeared, and it's now 4 or 5 hours later, and you're starting to see daylight break over the ridge. So it's clearly not instantaneous transfer, but you don't remember or haven't sensed any sort of walking.
Did we suddenly come to all standing up, or were we laying down?
Yeah, you're all standing up.
Do these ruins look at all like the abandoned temple that Afra found?
It's this. Do you want to make an intelligence check there, or what are you doing to kind of look at it, and what are you looking for?
So I think the temple that Afra found, the stone that it was made from was fairly peculiar. Not the same stone that if there's stonework in our village, it's not the same stone, not the same masonry. Yeah, I think that'll be that. She's the way the stone itself, the way it's cut. That's what she's examining.
So it's a similar type of stone. You know, it's like a marble, but not the same pattern or color of marble. At least this area right here. That is that it's in Aurora's old temple. Afra, what do you think are two things that are distinct about this sort of marbled stone? Just about the stone itself.
So the stone in Aurora's temple,
and marble has a sort of natural pattern to it. So it may be the pattern, it may be something about veins running through it. It may be, you tell me.
Yeah, I think at least the stone in Aurora's temple is it's a pink marble.
Okay.
Almost like a rose kind of color.
Right.
So that would be one thing about the stone in Aurora's temple. And I think that also the darker kind of pink veins that run through that marble, when the sun catches them just right, they kind of sparkle a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
nice.
Yeah. But I imagine the color here wouldn't be the same.
Tell me a thing about the color here. What's in it that does not look like a marble you've seen?
Well, certainly the dark pink vein that catches the light, like the in Aurora's temple. I think maybe here it's a darker red, and maybe it doesn't so much reflect light as it kind of seems to soak up light. Like it's almost like it's so dark that it doesn't reflect, kind of. Yeah.
So, sorry, I keep losing my tab. Constant Sorrow was also trained to use magic. You, the four of you, the five of you really, appear inside a circle in the marble. Is the circle like inlaid or engraved into the marble, or is it actually like different stone that's sort of laid in and polished in?
Yeah, it is a, forgetting all my liberal arts words. Little.
That's okay.
Little...
I grew up in Texas. I barely know it.
Is it a fresco when it's little pieces of tile that have been set to create a pattern?
I know what that
mosaic?
is. Thank
Mosaic.
you.
Thank you. I used to know that. Yeah, it's a beautiful mosaic that creates a unique sort of pattern that we find ourselves standing in.
Okay. Morrain, you are not trained in magic, but something about this circle disturbs even you. What is portrayed? What about the mosaic is particularly disturbing?
It's kind of a reflection of the tapestry, and that there's this, but it's much larger. There's this like bloody handprint. There's just a red hand shape.
Oh, wow.
Right in the center of it.
All right. In Lylani, what do you see that suggests to you people don't just go straight down that staircase when they come here, that people have been here recently and gone somewhere besides that staircase? You do see foot tracks towards the staircase, but something tells you people do more than just show up in the circle and head straight downstairs. What is it?
I think I see other other tracks, other footprints. I think they lead into other areas of the ruins. I feel like not just tracks, but I feel like there may be marks indicating that something had been dragged, something larger.
Which way was it dragged?
I think it was dragged towards other areas of the ruins.
In front of you, towards what you would see as D or C, or behind you?
That is a good question. I actually have not been able to locate the map.
Oh, it's right on sheet 2.
On sheet 2.
Yeah, go to the character keeper and then click sheet 2. I will give it a more descriptive name, which may help. What image board?
Let me see how I can figure this.
Yeah, if you go to the character keeper, there's 2 tabs there.
Oh yeah.
And then the master, and one of them I just renamed image board.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Sorry, and so where are we exactly right now?
You're standing right near the stair. You came out in a circle right near the stairs of what's labeled A.
Ah, okay. So I think, yeah, there's footsteps that lead towards the direction of D and C.
Okay.
Yeah. Along with those dragging marks.
So one last question for all of you. What's the light source illuminating those stairs? kind of on maybe on stands. It may be coming from below, and those stairs lead down. What's the light source you're seeing?
It's you can kind of see like the ceiling of the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
It's made of the same marble.
Mm-hmm.
And the veins are glowing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're absorbing the light from above and then like pulling it through and projecting it down.
Is it that eerie red that Afra described as kind of cutting through the marble, the dark marble?
Yeah, it's almost like those red covered lights to so that it doesn't screw up your night vision. It's that color.
Okay. Wow.
Can it pulse like like almost like a heartbeat, like veins in the blood going through the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice. I didn't even put that whole veins red. Yeah.
Cool. That's creepy.
Yes, it is.
You don't hear anything from those stairs, but everybody could swear they hear a rustling from somewhere nearby. What do you do?
When you say nearby, do we have like a direction the rustling's coming from?
I think I would want to. Yeah, you don't have a clear sense of where it's coming from. It's like something is moving around, and you're still kind of getting situated in the area. You can make a wisdom check, Afra. Just try to roll equal or under your wisdom to see if you get a sense of that.
No. I got under.
Nice. They weren't quite exactly simultaneous, but the reason it was hard to figure out where it was coming from is because you're pretty sure there's rustling going on both before you and behind you, kind of past the staircase and off to your left, and off to behind you and sort of to your left. And then there's the lit up staircase that's sort of, it looks like somebody recently either pulled aside or broke up something that had been covering this staircase, because there's another piece of like slab unpolished marble that's just kind of pushed to the side and cracked in half, just sort of past A and down a little bit off the foundation.
Wow.
Does that look like it would be really hard to do? Like, I mean, a marble slab
you would
require.
You would need several people.
Yeah, or one really strong person.
One
or thing.
Really strong person.
That's where the bear people come in.
They are now taking the money they got paid to move that marble slab, and they are in the inn on level 5. Drinking bear beer.
Let's see here. I think it's time to
Afra, how do you indicate that to the people you're with? Do you just say there's people there and people there, or do you...
How loud is the rustling?
It's relatively quiet.
Okay.
I
think then I'll
How well what did you get on the die?
I got a 13 and my wisdom's a 17.
Right. The one in front seems like it's a little more somebody's trying to stay quiet.
Okay. And I mean, how are we? What sort of? I guess who's closest to what's in front of us?
Who is closest to what's in front of you? You tell me.
Okay.
Who were the first people through the tapestry?
That's a good question.
I think it was Afra, right?
Did I go through? That's true. I did go through first.
You unlocked it.
Yeah.
I guess whatever the version of unlocking a tapestry is.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I went through first, I'm guessing Morrain probably came through after.
That makes sense.
And I'm going to guess then Constant Sorrow and then Lylani probably pulling up the rear, I think. So
I have a low constitution, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have 8 hit points.
You have to rub it in.
What more do you want? God.
Don't think of it as a limitation. Think of it as an opportunity.
No, too soft.
For a dramatic death scene, yes.
It's a feature, not a bug. Yeah.
I think that, I mean, given that Morrain is our would-be knight, and plus she has saved Afra in the past, I think Afra will try to whisper to Morrain something like, I hear something up ahead in that way, and point towards where I hear the sound they're trying to conceal themselves.
Well, this foundation are we on? Are we like above ground level or?
You're a few feet above. I mean, it's a little bit of a step down.
Okay.
I shouldn't say a few feet. You're a foot. You're about 1.5, 2 feet above ground level, especially on that back end. You know, you're on a not completely even surface.
Okay, but like it's not high enough that someone could be hiding just by the against the edge.
No. Yeah, I think where Afra is pointing to is more like DE, more often that grassy area around E.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna draw my sword and like try to not just immediately like charge in, but kind of try to circle around that way. Because I don't know that I heard where it was exactly, but
so you're just sort of moving slowly in that direction?
yeah.
All right. As you do, and your sword is out, correct?
Yeah.
Are you trying to look defensive and intimidating, or are you trying to look just kind of casual?
I think I'm trying to look defensive and intimidating.
Okay.
I think Lylani is like, wait, what the hell just happened? How did we get here? Where's Morrain going now?
No time for questions, Lylani.
Are you stepping off the foundation there?
I think I want to stay between them and whatever this noise is coming from.
Okay.
So I don't want to get too far from them.
There's kind of a tree right there. So you're trying to be seen by whoever's like out there?
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to. Basically, I don't want whoever's out there to, come and mess with my friends. So,
right.
I'm trying to look scary and intimidating, but at the same time, I'm not gonna like charge after them and leave my friends there, since that defeats the whole purpose.
Morrain, what was the first time you realized that, like most asshole bullies, Trey was a little bit craven? What did you see him get scared of?
Who was it that also mentioned that he's an asshole of our group earlier this session? Was that Lylani, or was that Afra?
Yeah, it was Lylani.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I noticed that he seems to actually be scared of Lylani.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like he used to, he would insult her behind her back. Like he would insult anyone else. He would just like try to pick a fight with them, but not her. I don't know what she has on him, but like no one else is scared of her particularly. Like, or at least until she started learning this whole thief thing, and now now you probably don't want her on your bad side, but but a few years ago, before that, she wasn't super intimidating. But yeah, he's always seemed a little leery of her.
So you I think you saw at least one time that Trey was saying something about Lylani, within your hearing, but not necessarily to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you heard his voice kind of crack, and he realized at the same time that she was standing very close by. And it reminds you of that moment because you almost don't recognize Trey's voice. And then you're like, oh, it's that cracking sound. He's like, I don't think they want you to come any closer. And he's kind of coming from the grass in area E. Not too far off, like kind of right there where you have like 15 feet between the edge of the foundation where you are and the edge of the grass. Still pretty dark.
Yeah. Trey. Who's with you?
Could you back up slightly?
What for?
They seem to want that.
Who?
The nice dragon people.
Dragon people.
I'll take a step back. Yeah.
Whoa,
Dragon
what?
people. That was pretty. Yeah. That seems like a good reason to take a step back.
Zinnia's here, and Garen's here. We're being held captive.
What the hell?
What? Is Xenia holding you captive, or is she with you?
You hear Zinnia just harumph, really loudly, but as if somebody is muffling her voice.
Can we see the dragon people or whatever at all?
What's your like? You're just getting a little bit of light.
Mm-hmm.
Just roll a d6.
Okay.
Tell me what you get. You can add your wisdom bonus to your roll.
I think that's negative, but let me see. It might be 0. No, it's 0. Okay, it's 3.
His voice is coming from the edge of that grassy area where the trees and grass have not been cut back at all.
Okay.
And that's going away from the cliff's edge. The cliff's edge is sort of back towards, say, B, where it says Lost City of Thracia down at the bottom of the map. This is more in toward E is more in towards the edge of the mountain, where you might get a lot of water accumulating, depending on the slope, rather than draining off the mountain. So it seems to be more dense vegetation over there. And it looks like whoever's been coming up here has been cutting stuff back pretty heavily, but has not really gotten to that zone yet.
Okay. Trey, how many are there?
I think 6. And then it's just like you hear him just kind of like somebody's muffling his
Oh.
Do I still hear the rustling behind us?
Yeah, good question.
You've not heard rustling from behind you. But after it sort of occurs to you, if people were just moving away, since they're moving towards the face of they're moving towards sort of the edge, they might be on a stonier section. So they may have gone clear of bushes or whatever, or you can't really see the area that is B from where you are. But whoever it was may have moved past whatever vegetation was there.
Okay.
Anyway, you can see a little bit of now that the light's getting better, you can see a little bit of a corner of something right there where B is. But where there aren't any trees or bushes.
Okay. I think I'm gonna whisper loud enough this time so that all my friends can hear me that that I heard something back behind us as well. But now I don't hear it anymore.
All right. This doesn't seem like a good situation, so it's time for me to make a speech, which I do. And is it the magic? Is it my awesome words? Hard to say, but I cast inspiration to give everybody a +1 to hit.
Tell me about this speech.
It's one of my briefer speeches, actually. That it touches on things like camaraderie and how long we've known each other and the ties that bind, and there might be people in there we don't even like, but it's kind of our duty to get those people back because they're part of our community, that kind of thing.
All right. Do you roll anything for this, or is this just a spell?
It just works, but since we are newly level 2, it will be lasting for 6 rounds.
Okay.
So it's not super long, but you know, under the circumstances, seems appropriate. Oh, it's +1 to hit, +1 to and +1 to all saving throws, not the damage.
That's good. Yeah. So what do you guys want to do?
I think it's time for some stealthing.
Ah.
So I am going to notch my bow, and I'm going to. I want to try to flank whatever the hell is behind us. Because honestly, I don't give a shit about Trey. So, yeah, I'm going to try to. I'm trying to think like what the exact path would be. Like maybe.
I'm gonna do some stealth, and there's that that set of trees right there that are coming up through the pavement, kind of form a little wall with other trees that might give you a good view of what's going on back there.
Are you talking about like F area there?
No, I'm thinking of if
Closer
you
to D.
come down towards if you go right and down from A, there's that
Right and
set
down.
of four trees that are almost a wall that might give you a clear view of that B area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna like try to as inconspicuously as possible.
Yeah.
Make my way over there to get to take a gander.
Lylani, using your stealth, which means you're going to treat your dexterity as 2 points higher. Well, so if you roll a 20, it's still a failure. But if you roll a 2, it'll be a critical success as well as a 1.
Okay. All right. iPad, don't fail me now. Boop. 10.
Okay. You get over there, and it's kind of shadowy, but and they don't seem to be paying any attention to you. You've sort of faded back into the trees. There's someone standing on that area B sort of foundation, and it's bigger than it looks from where you were standing. And they seem to be looking off roughly to where your friends are. You can't quite make out who it is because they're crouched low and kind of silhouetted in the incoming light. And then you see another head. There must be a staircase behind there because another head sort of pops up and then goes back down. And they're sort of whispering together.
Okay. Is there sort of a same pulsating red light coming from those stairs?
No, it looks like they've got some sort of torches coming from down there.
Torches, how prosaic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but not next to them where they are. Just sort of now that somebody's moved in and out of that, you can sort of see like a little faint light coming up.
Okay. And I can't make out, like, do they have, like horns coming out of their heads or any other dragon-y things?
No, they look pretty human-y.
Pretty human-y, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta watch out for those evil horned people.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
Don't just go shooting horned folks willy-nilly, all right?
Okay, I have to think about what to do. So if you want to cut, then
Let's
Feel
cut
free.
over. Afra, what are you up to now? And Sorrow, you see Morrain move towards the front, and you can see Lylani moving towards the back, though she did it pretty quietly, out of the corner of your eye. And I'm pretty sure Lylani has had words with everybody before about when she's sneaking around, don't look straight at her.
Don't wave at me or hey, good job.
Very stealthy. Yeah.
I'm sure no one's going to see you.
So that was Lylani was slinking towards B,
Yeah.
whereas Morrain was working more towards E, right?
Right.
Okay. And the grass in E is
And you cast a spell, so you were pretty obviously there.
yes. I want to flush them out because of the idea of going wading in that tall grass does not sound like a good idea. So I'm going to try to make my way towards the road area there by C.
We could light the grass on fire.
Or I could create the illusion that the grass is on fire.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah.
Like a David Copperfield kind of thing going on. Yeah.
What's the description of Greater Illusion say?
It says so the sad thing about Greater Illusion is that I must be near, which is why I need to get close to the area that I want to create the illusion in. It lasts for as long as I concentrate. They do get a save. Everybody would get a save. I speak some ancient words of power, call forth an image. They appear real but have no substance.
If you get to the edge of D, you can try to do that.
Okay. Yeah, and it does create sounds also, so it'll have the crackling, fiery sounds. So yeah, you just let me know and I'll cast it. I'm going to try to cast it probably on the northern edge of E and create the sensation that it's moving, towards me.
Okay.
Okay. So they're gonna you want them to run toward us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're trying to sneak over that way or just walk?
I'm not super sneaky. I'll do my best. I'm not gonna pound through the underbrush, but
yeah.
I'm more interested in making haste, I guess.
Okay. Go ahead and make that dex check.
Dex check. Is that one of my good ones? Oh, please, please, please. Yes, it is. All right. Success, 13.
All right. And you have a 15 dexterity. It is
Correct.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they... And then Afra, what about you?
I think Afra's staying close to Morrain. Don't think she feels comfortable sneaking off with either the thief or the fae. So
Okay.
hanging close to Morrain.
Awesome. Anything in particular you're doing?
I think just looking out to where they heard Trey's voice coming from, scanning the area, trying to mean, because she's already heard two figures out there, so I guess she's listening to see if she can hear anything else or see anything else.
Which are you? So you're moving towards Morrain, which suggests you're moving forward. Correct?
Correct. But I don't think she would move. I mean, she's going to stay far enough back that she doesn't get Morrain's way, but she is going to move up towards Morrain and stay close.
Constance's going to do something. I think they're going to be coming this way.
Afra, go ahead and check your wisdom again.
So I rolled an 11. I should get my wisdom 17.
Feel free to ask me. You definitely hear a whispering, very, very low, coming from there. Doesn't sound like any of the people Trey mentioned.
Okay.
What two things would you like to ask me about that whispering?
So if it doesn't sound like any of the people that Trey mentioned, do I recognize it?
You do not recognize the voices.
Okay.
They sound sort of sibilant. I did not mean to alliterate there.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll also whisper, but loud enough for Morrain to hear that I'm going to tell her what I heard.
And as soon as you start to whisper to Morrain, you hear Trey's voice again, and he's just like, "Rrr!" And then the hand comes away, whatever's covering his mouth comes away. It's just like, I don't think they like it when you talk. They don't want something happening. They're really mean and scary and scaly and cold.
What the hell?
Not very good at gagging people, though.
We would do a much better job.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have another question you'd like to ask me about that, Afra?
Can't think of... I mean, so I've heard this kind of snaky, hissing, whispering. And Trey told us that there were 6 of them? Or was that 6?
Say there were 6 of them.
Okay.
At least 6 he's seen.
How high can Trey count? Do we know?
Like most people in the village, he can usually count to 10 at least. Sometimes 20 if he's wearing sandals.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, unless he had an accident and lost a couple fingers.
You think that Trey has a notion of object permanence. You think. He has read taunts aloud, so you know he can read.
Oh,
So does it sound like
once intercepted people's correspondence?
oh.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
Afra.
Does it sound like all of that, the kind of sibilant whispering is coming from the same area?
Roughly the same area. Not too far away. And it's definitely not muffled. It's intentionally low, but not like no one's covering anybody's mouth.
And we can't see anything. We can just hear the voices coming from kind of that grassy area.
Right. Sorrow, are you ready to cast that spell?
I am. I wind up and start muttering ancient power words in the direction of the northern part of E to create a highly realistic brush fire, crackling and growing in strength and approaching south.
Nice. They also, as soon as that starts up, there's suddenly a light coming from the north end. And I don't think most of you knew exactly what Sorrow was up to, though you've probably seen Sorrow create illusions before. But all of a sudden, smoke and light and crackling start to emerge from the far end. And all of a sudden, a cluster of lizard-like people drag Trey and Zinnia and Garen out of that grass and move towards you very quickly, as if surprised or frightened. And Trey's like, tell them to put it out. Tell them to put it out. They're going to kill us. What do you do?
So are they coming towards Morrain and Afra?
Yeah. Tell them to put it out. Tell them to put it out.
I'm going to jump forward and, like, not stab one of them, but, like, put my sword up to one of them's throat. One of the lizard people, not one of our people.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out sort of like how to see how well that works.
You could use it like a commanding stance.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah, I feel like commanding stance. Actually, you're not going to do damage, but go ahead and just make an attack.
Okay. That is my... Nine.
So it brings a shield up, and it brings a spear around. And intercepts your sword and sort of knocks it away, and sort of takes it in, like a stance. Like now, you guys are sort of in this sort of like, are we going to fight or not? Zone. And Afra, you know something. I'm not even going to ask you to roll for it because I think this is the kind of thing Afra just knows. Long before humans were said to live in the mountains, you know there was a race of reptile folk who lived here.
do I know anything more about them than just their existence?
You may make an intelligence check. Treating your intelligence as 13 instead of 11.
6.
6, nice.
Huh.
Let me tell you a thing and see what question you have about it. One question. You know that they were the first to worship the dawn. What question does that lead you to?
I mean, I know what it makes me want to ask, but I think I know the answer already if they're up here. But, I mean, did they have anything to do with the Temple of Aurora?
You don't think they called her Aurora. For one thing, they don't seem to be able to make human words. Like their mouths are just too different. But it said that after humans conquered them, they taught their new masters to worship the dawn.
Huh. That's interesting.
Huh.
Morrain, do you want to de-escalate this or get into a fight?
I think my first inclination is to get into a fight, but I'm gonna look to Afra because she knows about this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I've probably picked unwise fights before that Afra later was like, no, that was stupid. Why did you do that? So I'm going to look to her first.
I think when Morrain looks back, Afra's going to hold up her ancient holy symbol that she found at the Temple of Aurora. And I mean, knowing that they don't speak, they don't speak the same language we do, I think she's just going to hold up the symbol in a reverent sort of way, as if to say, I too worship the dawn.
Make a charisma check, Afra.
Might not be good. Let's see. No, my lowest score. Oh, 4.
You got a symbol there, so I was gonna say you could treat it as an 11.
So I got a 4.
You've got a 4.
Nice.
You don't even need it.
Excellent.
So, Morrain, the lizard folk that you were squaring off with sort of taps his spear against your sword and then lowers it. Really slowly. Like he's waiting for you to lower as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll lower my sword also really slowly.
It's tense, but you both have him to the ground.
Okay.
And then the one holding Trey puts his hand back over Trey's obnoxious mouth.
I mean, I'm not going to stop him from that.
Yeah.
And then he reaches sort of a clawed reptilian hand around Trey's, like down the front of Trey's shirt, and then pulls up a holy symbol, some other sort of amulet or symbol, and then just on a thong around Trey's neck and just sort of breaks the thong and just throws it at Afra's feet.
And do I recognize this as a Thanatos holy symbol?
It looks like the old symbol of Thanatos.
Okay. So I share this with Morrain. I think just for good effect, I'll spit on it. Maybe take it away from me.
Nice.
The universal language of spitting on something.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
I'll sort of be like, I'm like mumbling to myself, concentrating, Nam Yoho, Renkyo, and then I'll be like, what's going on, guys? As I continue to chant. Kind of look on the side of my eye.
I was going to warn everybody about the guys in the back, but everybody like wandered off in the other direction.
If you move, you'll need to recheck stealth there. Afra.
Yeah.
Afra Lylani. Sorry, I don't know why it's Afra and Lylani straight. I don't know why. I apologize.
We don't look anything alike.
One is a mage, one is a thief. I apologize.
All right. I think, yeah, like I'm about to like whisper to everybody like, hey, there's a bunch of, and then like I turn around and like everybody's wandered off. So I'm like, oh, God. All right. So
is as soon as this starts to happen, as soon as the fire starts to happen,
yeah.
about 3 people come up top.
And like, where are they heading?
Recognize them now. One is Rankin, one is Gratis, one is Connell.
Mm-hmm.
Aha.
Just as we suspected. All right. I kind of like, yeah, look at them with disdain.
Off in the direction of that fire, and where they can sort of see from where they are, kind of ducking around the trees, they can sort of make out what your friends are doing, possibly better than you can.
Okay. Are they heading towards my friends?
No, they're decidedly not heading towards your friends. They are sort of keeping a lookout. But they seem to be handing up some spears. And you see Rankin sort of strapping a shield onto his arm.
Ruh-roh. Okay.
And then Gratis goes back downstairs, even with this. It seems to be messing with something. There seems to be a little bit of a scuffle. Is the bad word? Is a wrong word. It seems like he's just fussing with something down, like just at the edge of the torchlight, below ground.
Okay. I feel like I need to get word to my friends here. So okay.
Over where you are, Afra. One of the lizard people in front is like gesturing to you, and then gesturing to the eastern face of the cliff, kind of off past where you are, where the dawnlight is coming, and then motions to the 3 villagers, and then motions to your holy symbol, and then touches his heart, and then points to the eastern face of the cliff, and sort of motions like throwing. And then pats Trey on the head.
So, I'm gonna look to Morrain to see what she thinks about this proposition.
Are they going to throw them off the cliff?
I think that's the proposition.
I don't think we can let them do that.
Okay. Just checking. It was just Trey. So.
I mean,
she did
yeah,
motion to all of them. They just patted Trey on the head.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we just let Trey. No.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So
that symbol that Trey had are we close enough to the cliff to just throw that off the edge just to see what happens?
The symbol that Trey had, no, it's a little bit of a walk over the cliff.
Okay.
It'd take you a few minutes to get over there.
But
you can hold it up and then motion throwing it or something like that.
Sure, why not?
Is that what you do?
Sure, yeah.
And then all the lizard folk nod vigorously and then motion to the three villagers and then motion throwing things over the cliff.
I thought I was worried that might yeah, I just like kind of, draw my sword again and say no.
But I think Afra's gonna shake her head, but I mean, not in a sort of antagonistic, like we're not going to let you do that, but kind of like a more hesitant sort of head shake, and she's gonna point to the holy symbol, and then motion as if like a tear is running down her cheek. As if to try to communicate that would make Aurora unhappy.
And
are we sure these dragon people cry?
That's a good question. Yeah, who knows? Do the reptoids know it's Christmas time at all?
And Morrain, what's your charisma?
13.
13? Okay. One of the lizard folks sort of pushes themselves forward. And then sort of makes eye contact with the two of you, and it's like then gestures to where the fires are, or where the illusory fires are, and then gestures to its eye, and then comes up and sort of taps the two of you on the forehead and nods. And then it sort of leans towards your holy symbol. Are you still holding it up, Afra?
I think so, yeah.
And it just very, very gently touches the rill of its nose to your holy symbol. And then taps you on the forehead very, very lightly again. What are you doing back there, Starro?
Well, my glances in that direction haven't shown me Morrain going to town on anyone, and this back and forth with the reptoids is seems like there's some kind of a parlay going on. So I'm going to wrap up my power word mumbles and do a little clap and let the fire disappear and head back over towards where my friends are.
And the one who ran the rill over their sort of nose rill over your holy symbol, looks back over its shoulder, sees that the illusion is gone, and does sort of a nod towards you and taps you on the forehead one more time. Then it picks up Trey's holy symbol and tosses it sort of absently into the grass. And then glares at the three people you have that are with them. And then sort of makes a shrugging gesture towards Afra and Morrain. Lylani, over where you're standing, you see Gratis, sorry, come back upstairs and sort of half by the scruff of his neck and half by his left ear, he has Tad.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Like a sock or something stuck in his mouth.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really upsetting.
And he's like whispering to Gratis is whispering to Tad very, very sternly. And Tad looks pretty agitated.
Is he bound or anything? As far as I can tell?
Not really bound so much as just got something stuffed in his mouth, and Gratis is holding one of his hands behind his back and sort of pulling him around half by the edge of his shirt and half by his ear.
Okay. And are they like heading? Are they stationary, or are they heading towards the group?
They are not heading anywhere. He's pointed Tad in the direction of your friends over off the edge, on the far edge of the foundation. He's clearly giving him some instructions about something.
Okay. Okay, so it's very tempting to just like rush them, but I think Lylani realizes that's not good to take on like a bunch of dudes, especially with my constitution. So, okay, I'm going to try to maneuver myself into a position where like the group could see me, but still hopefully remain like obscured from the view of, these bad guys. And I'm going to do my characteristic like bird noise that everybody knows is like a warning call. And then everybody's gonna look and see me, and then I'm gonna start doing my own little mime routine, because 2 to indicate that, like 3 bad sword, that kind of thing. I presume I'm gonna have to roll for something to make this all happen.
That's a lot going on. Let's start with how sneaky you are.
Okay.
It's likely to go well.
Yes, because I am quite sneaky. Let's see, reroll.
Highly skilled.
Bam, 7.
Nice. Yeah, you're able to get into position without anybody over there seeing you. You do see that they're sort of pointed back sort of like to the other side of that platform you were looking at, or that foundation you were looking at. And just sort of like pushed Tad forward, kind of half pushed, half cuffed him, and took the gag, whatever was in his mouth, out of his mouth. Just sort of like thrust him off the platform and just sort of cuffed him, and he sort of scuttled off into the trees. Opposite you, you moved brilliantly quietly back to the middle of that, where they are sort of blocked from seeing you. Let's try to make that signal. I'm gonna. I don't have a. Let's do charisma.
Oh fuck. That's okay. I mean, failure can be fun too.
But wouldn't it be more like a mouth dexterity?
I got a 4. I got a 4.
Wait a minute, do you guys hear like a red-winged blackbird or something?
Oh, that would be difficult. Yeah. Wait a minute. No, it's got to be something more like mountain appropriate, though. Like, I don't think we're going to find red-winged blackbirds in the mountain.
If I had made it wisdom or intelligence, you still would have succeeded. So, no. I have no idea. It's hawkish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, something that you would find in a variety of habitats, I think.
Yeah.
Also much easier to imitate.
Right. I feel like Lylani is not trying to show off right now.
Right.
No.
Or like, look over here. Yeah.
So you hear that bird cry. That's a little too early in the morning. I think Afra knows. Morrain might know as well. It's a little too early in the morning for a hawk cry. And that's one of the things that, Lylani uses when she's trying to get your attention without drawing too much attention. Kansara, you see this too. What are you doing now that you've canceled the spell?
Well, I've rejoined Morrain and Afra, and I have a huge question mark over my head, and I am now looking over toward the south because I've heard the distinctive not hawk noise of Lylani saying,
Lylani, show me a couple of the hand gestures you're making to make yourself clear and heard.
Like how many of those guys are there? There's like
there you saw 3.
I saw 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sorry.
Not counting Tad. Okay. So I gotta start with 3 and then like bad guys, kind of like that. And then maybe like spears like that. And then
your friends are, by the way, now talking to lizard people. Who are tapping them on the forehead.
I mean, I just walked through a tapestry, so I mean, at this point, it's just gonna be a strange day. And let's see, maybe a gesture for Tad, like he's short, so I'm like, and then like that last one probably they don't understand, like sock stuffed in mouth. But I feel like the first
You're
three
hungry?
were probably.
I told you we should have brought more food with us.
Right. So yeah, those are my gestures.
Nice.
As soon as you are visible, Lylani, Trey looks mortified, like he blanches.
Well, he knows what he did.
That's right.
So, yeah,
He may
somewhere.
have forgotten. He just remembers to be afraid.
Yeah.
And Zinnia sort of rolls her eyes.
She's got a bad attitude.
I know I volunteered disinformation, but now I'm wondering what Lylani did to Trey. Or threatened to do to him.
We will find out.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
That is when... I mean, the lizard people are getting slightly confused with these two new people coming up anyway. When you hear the distinctive twig snapping sound of somebody trying to sneak through the... Lylani, this is a classic mistake. Like, you step on something and you realize you're about to break it. So instead of kind of letting it go quickly and agilely, you let it go too slow. So now it makes more noise over an extended period of time.
Amateurs.
And Lylani, you'd swear you heard a small sort of exasperated moan from the trees just off to the right of A, sort of behind where you guys, behind and to the right, or sorry, yeah, behind and to the left of where you are now, towards sort of the FO labeled area, but more to the north there.
Wait, so where am I right now? Sorry.
You're sort of hidden, I think, at like the edge of A, where those two trees are a little spaced apart that have kind of broken through the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else has sort of stepped off that edge there, and the noise is coming from that northwestmost tree in the FO area. Makes sense?
Oh, they're getting close.
Well, somebody's getting close.
Yes. I think I ready my bow and I'm trying to catch a glimpse of who or what is over in the FO area.
You might have to move, but start with a wisdom check.
Okay.
I mean, you know who they push forward.
Right. It could be. I'm rolling very well today. I got a 6.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, you see just one small frame person sort of crouched behind a tree.
Okay.
Still sort of whirring at a stick under his boot. That's clearly what he just broke.
Oh, Tad was never very good at sneaking.
And I feel like you're actually able to make his face out a little bit, both because the light is growing and it's coming right at him.
Oh,
it's not behind
little
where you are.
Angelic cherubic face. All right.
So Trey's looking terrified. Tad is trying to spy on you guys, even though all of the lizard folks have now turned with their spears to point straight at him.
Oh God!
Or at least where he is.
Right.
They don't seem to see him, but behind the tree there. But they definitely know where he is.
Like, how far away is he from me?
Nearby vicinity. He's maybe 30 feet.
30 feet. Okay. Oh man. I call over to him, I'll give away my position. Ugh.
Do we hear anything?
Yeah, you all heard that. You all heard the breaking twig, and all the lizard folk all turned to look at that one little copse of trees along the edge of the foundation.
I feel like I'm not doing much good in this whole conversation thing. So I'm gonna run over and see what made that sound.
Nice. Yeah.
Roll initiative.
So it begins.
I'm really just trying to see who goes first. Right?
Don't kill Dad.
21.
Let's see here. What is
So just to give you guys context, coming out of this is based on BXD&D, and in BXD&D, you don't roll initiative when you get in a fight. You roll initiative whenever you need to see what happens first.
Okay. Yeah.
It's less of a cue for we're about to start fighting. What did you get there, Morrain?
21.
21. All right, 17. So you definitely get over there. And I think you're not trying to be stealthy at all, are you?
No, I just like run up and grab whoever it is.
Okay. So you see Morrain dart into the trees. Morrain, just make a strength check.
16. What's my strength? Got it.
Nice. Yeah. How do you grab young Tad?
I could just like tackle him. Yeah. Because I don't really know who it is, and
True.
I don't want whoever it is, like they're just sort of this shape crouched down, and I don't want them to have a chance to like draw a weapon or anything, but I also don't know who it is, so I don't want to hurt them. So yeah, I just like sort of tackle him and knock him down. And then like, oh, it's Tad. Okay.
Just can imagine Lylani just like watching this happen. Oh no! Bam!
Sorry, didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
You see Morrain come around the edge and all of a sudden just pounce on Tad, not with her sword on, just kind of tackling him to the ground. And then all of you hear the voice of Tad make a very loud oof. Lylani, you're the only one who knows they're there or exactly where they are. You're close enough that they may have heard that too. You're not sure? You've no idea?
They being the three bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you doing with Tad now that you've got him?
I think just was Dad. What? Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to like just whisper talk to him because
you can move him around. You can. You've pretty thoroughly tackled him.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't want to hurt him. But
if you carry him, he could probably punch you from you hold while you hold him, but he's not. You've got him tackled.
Okay. Yeah. So Dad, what are you doing? And then I probably noticed the sock. Like, why Why do you have a
It's actually
sardine?
not in his mouth anymore. It's just
Okay,
tucked into the
good.
front of his-
That's good.
It's just sort of tucked into the front of his shirt. He sort of winds out like, I'm spying.
Not very well.
Lylani, as soon as you hear his oof, both Trey and Xenia roll their eyes in unison in the most exaggerated way you can possibly imagine.
I mean, like they have room to judge. I mean, they got captured by these lizard people. I don't know.
Yeah.
These guys are jerks.
Yeah.
Where are you? Are you staying behind the tree with him? Or are you pulling out? Or are you pulling him away from there, Morrain? What are you doing?
I'm gonna pull him away. I'm gonna
Back
wait.
towards your friends?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's when he says, I'm spying. And I'd like to, do you guys want to take a 10-minute break and then we'll go for one more hour?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good.
Sound good?
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Let's take a 10-minute break right there.
You're still recording, Richard. I can't hear you either.
If you stop recording, you can't ever start again.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've never successfully gotten one to work, so
Oh yeah, no, you can't stop, or you won't be. There's no pause.
that actually, yeah, that sounds very familiar. I bet I tried to do that once.
My very first Gauntlet game, I was like, well, let's not record the break. It's kind of silly. I mean, that recording doesn't exist because.
That's that.
Oh
man,
I tried to figure out what to do, and I was like, let's screw that. That recording is just going to go into the garbage. Give Larry a second to get back.
So we were talking about heat earlier. I'm going to Vegas in about a week. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll take advantage for a change of the natural scenery. I've never really hung out in the desert. Well, actually, that's not true. Once in South America, but not the same thing as, like Death Valley or whatever. So I'll do some hiking, I'm thinking to myself. And so I started checking out the websites, and they're like, yeah, nobody hikes here at the end of June. Like, oh, man. Like, what? It's like you can hike down the strip from casino to casino. Like, that's not what I want to do.
I was working with some adjunct education faculty once who worked in Vegas, the Vegas school system. And apparently to save money in the summer, they just turn all the air conditioning systems off for their whole building structures when the schools are in break.
Oh.
But administrators have to be there.
Oh.
But they don't have set hours. So all the administrators wake up at 2:00 in the morning when it's still cold and go work until 10:00 when it starts getting hot.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, no way.
That was, I think, before, work from home was a viable option for most people. But
yeah, and for something like that, who knows if it even still is? There's lots of industries where they still won't let you.
Oh yeah.
They just blows their mind, the idea that somebody could stay at home and do their job. It's like, I don't know.
People are like, I can work just as hard when I'm at home, and I bet like I can goof off just as much when I'm at the office.
You should have more incentive to like actually get your work done faster at home, because you don't have to like pretend to be busy for the rest of the day. You could just wander off and do something else when you're done.
Right.
That's true.
And then instead of struggling to stay asleep to stay awake in that meeting, I can actually just go take a nap.
Yeah.
Oh, so many times I would have just killed for like a 5-minute nap.
Right.
Like it's like, well, I guess I could crash in the server room, but it's like 30 below in there, and I don't know. It's not fun.
You're not actually being any less efficient. You're just being more honest about it.
Right.
Exactly.
There you are. Welcome back.
Hi, sorry.
Everybody. No worries.
Yeah, all good.
So we are huddled, having just captured Tad. And the leader of the lizard folk is now talking to your growing group of captives, or pointing at your growing group of captives, and looking at you, Afra, was shrugging, like, what do you want to do with all these captives?
So there wasn't a clear, where we appeared after coming out of the tapestry, there wasn't like a clear way back.
Right.
There's no tapestry hanging there that's...
No. There is the circle you appeared in.
And do we have... so we we can see the cliff face. So do we have an idea of which direction our village is from where we are?
You're guessing you're on the far side of the mountain, so your village would be roughly south.
Okay.
And we might be able to send them back using the mosaic.
Oh. So before we attempt to do that, I think Afra is going to just kind of point to the captives, and then she's going to point to herself and her friends, and then point south towards the village. Try to intimate that we can take the captives back with us.
Uh-oh. Okay.
They start nodding at each other. And then you're pretty sure you and Morrain both hear the names Amas and Amar. And then pointing off and just like, and he gestures to the little group of people and then makes a dismissive hand gesture in the direction of where you'd sort of go down the mountain towards your village.
So we can understand him saying Amas and Amar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least something that sounds like that.
Yeah. And he said that, did you say that before he gestured down towards the village? Or,
Yes.
or while he was gesturing?
While he was sort of gesturing, but before he sort of looked at your circle and was just like, get rid of those people.
Okay.
Lylani, you can see, you still have your eye on Tad, right?
I think I'm monitoring Tad, who I'm very concerned with, but I'm also like, I think I'm trying to keep an eye on the Gratis and Rankin and whoever else is back there.
You can't really see them from where you are, but you know where they were.
Okay.
But you're sort of splitting your attention between that. Because you're splitting your attention, I want you to sort of make a wisdom roll.
No problem. I am on a streak tonight. I see no reason for that to end. And, oh, damn. Okay, well, never mind. I rolled a 17.
Afra, I'd like you to make a wisdom check too, as you're looking at the prisoners and then looking at the direction they're gesturing.
Oh, really? I rolled a 20.
Oh no!
And I think, yeah. So my
you can make you can spend a fortune point.
I think I will.
Oh, yeah, right.
I think that's given my wisdom score. I think that'll be worth it. So, all right, let's roll 8.
Much better.
Yes.
Afra, you notice Trey. I mean, Zinni and Trey, and a little bit. Garen is looking a little nervous at the two of them. And Zinni is looking a little smug as she looks at the hand gestures and sort of deciphers what's going on. Trey is looking obnoxiously smug.
Mm-hmm.
Even the presence of Lylani cannot break the smug smile on his face as he sort of discerns that you're about to walk him back in the direction, send him marching back in the direction of the village, or walking back in the direction of the village, whatever you intended.
Is he the only one that looks like
Zia
he's
looks
kind of
a
happy
little
with what's going on?
but Trey looks so self-satisfied, it's absurd. Lylani, you're seeing a little bit of motion from those trees, but nothing has emerged from them yet.
Sorry, Richard. I missed what you just said.
Oh. You see a little bit of motion from those trees, but nothing has emerged from them yet.
Okay. I think. All right. Well, I mean, I already warned those guys. Hopefully, they're going to keep their eye out too. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay put and wait for something to come out with my bow ready.
So you're using your bow to cover that sort of copse of trees. Afra, Morrain, you've now seen this sort of smile. I think all three of you can see this smile on Trey's face.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling pretty
Makes me suspicious,
self-satisfied.
but I'm always so I'm not sure it changes much.
Well, if they beat us down to town, which they probably will, they get to tell whatever version of the story they want to tell. But aside from, really harshly deprogramming them right here, right now, I don't know what else we could possibly do other than let them go.
Do we have any idea how far back it would be? Like, how long it would take us to get back to the village?
Which way?
Based on the landmarks you're seeing, Lylani, Afra, this is further out than the shepherds come. And they usually go 2, maybe 3 days travel out. So this is at least, there may be shortcuts. Maybe if like humans could or if you just have a small group, you might be able to go up the mountain and then sort of around the edge. You've not really scouted it, I don't think, unless you have.
Well, that's good. They're not looking at a very pleasant journey back.
So shall we? Do we want to try to see if the mosaic takes us back?
You know what I could do? I'll saunter over and use my last. Actually, it's always on. It's not really a spell. I will try to sense magic in the direction of the mosaic.
Oh yeah. Why don't you just roll intelligence?
All right.
Is that what the directions say?
I'm
winging it, so tell me if I'm wrong.
Let's see. Hold on a quick second. I think I'm naturally sensitive to the world of magic. I just have to concentrate for a few minutes. If I'm in the presence of particularly intense sorcery, I might notice it immediately, but otherwise it just requires some concentration in the direction of the thing that I'm trying to sense the magic in. So the example they use, for example, is if we were in the tavern and I was like trying to tell if Tad was somehow magical or wearing something magical, it'd be kind of obvious if I was staring at him really hard. Like, but the mosaic doesn't care.
Clearly magical, but you can make an intelligence check.
All right. That's 15. Success.
Nice. Yeah, it is clearly magical. You think that it's definitely going to require something to activate it.
Probably blood.
Maybe the same thing both directions. There is a giant handprint in the middle of it.
All right. I'll kind of raise my voice a little bit and let the rest of the folks know.
Lylani, trying again amateurishly to be sneaky. You see Connell, Gratis, and Rankin kind of keeping low to the ground in the growing light, all carrying spears. Rankin still got his shield strapped on, heading out from behind that copse of trees. They still clearly do not see you.
All right. Yeah. I am going to shoot Gratis, and I'm going to try... I think I'm going to shoot for his legs. Yeah, I'm not trying to actually kill him at this point.
Roll it.
All right. Am I trying to roll high or low this time?
You want to roll high.
Okay. Let's go.
Tell me what you roll.
Fuck.
That's not on the die.
No, it clearly says.
You guys wanted a special dice.
Hit location die. I've never seen the swear word die.
Yeah, no, I rolled a 4. Yeah.
Do you want to spend that fortune point?
Yes, please.
I have a lot
I shall. I got a lot of fortune.
Full of luck. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see if that makes any difference here. Did it take? No, I didn't do it. Okay, let me try again.
It will. I'm sure it'll work.
Okay, 12. And I think get some bonuses.
Right? Yeah, your dex should give you a bonus.
You already so you've got
I get a +3 to that.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, you square. Roll your damage.
Ha, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You're 18 dex. Whoa.
So that's like a 1d6, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, solid.
4. That's a pretty good hit.
Immediately starts screaming. Ow! Ow! Ow!
I relish in his cries of pain.
Rankin and Connell freeze, kind of wide-eyed. Let's all roll initiative. Actually, let's do it Let's do a side initiative. You guys, Lylani kind of started this and has a great dexterity bonus. So let's let her roll a d6 and add your dex bonus, and tell me what you get. I will roll a 1.
Aha. I got a 5 + 3 is 8.
So you go, and there's a long pause, and they go.
That's good.
So I have time to step out for smokes. These are the worst bad guys. I feel like Lylani may have almost oversold these bad guys to you.
Wait, so am I allowed to take like another pot shot at him, or
yeah, and then I'll just gonna go across with
Okay.
Afra next.
wait, so sorry, me first and then Afra?
Yeah, and then I'll
Okay.
just
Got it. All right, so I think I'm gonna basically try the same thing, but this time I'm gonna do it on Rankin.
mhm.
And did it do it? That's the thing about this thing is like if you roll exactly the same thing, how do you know if you actually rolled? You know?
Yeah, no.
But I don't think it went through. Oh, 6.
You may spend
Do
another
I-
fortune point.
I could spend another fortune point. But these guys are like, I feel like they're not worth the fortune points. I don't know.
It's harsh.
Sorry. I'm just gonna let that one whiz by. Yeah.
All right. Afra,
Yeah.
what's going on?
So can we see what's
You can-
going on, or can we just hear it?
Yeah, you can sort of get a good sense of what's going on. Lylani has shot somebody, and it sounds a lot like Gratis. You might realize because Lylani has wanted to shoot Gratis, and is possibly even, if I shot Gratis, he would make the following sound, and she singly prescient at the kind of sound, which sounds like it's fading. Lylani, there is a lot of blood.
Oh God. Well, I tried my best not to kill him. Okay. Like,
I think Afra's probably afraid to break any of the kind of negotiations that she's formed with the wizard people. So she might just not make any moves, just kind of hang out and see what happens.
Like hands up, like we're all friends.
Yeah.
Morrain,
Oh, I mean,
you can see it clearly.
yeah.
If you do something, you're gonna have to let Tad go.
I'm gonna, I think, trust Tad not to bolt. Or, I mean, if he does, he does, I guess. And, but these guys are threat is maybe a generous term, from the sounds of things, but, yeah, I'm gonna, who is it that, Lylani missed?
Rankin.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go up and what are my options here for yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I don't actually want to kill them, but I do want to stop them. So yeah, I'm gonna go I guess that would maybe be defensive stance.
Okay.
Or protective. Well,
Who are you protecting if you take a protective stance?
yeah, it would be protecting like the group, but they're not like right there, so probably defensive.
Yeah, they didn't get very far before Lylani shot them.
Yeah. So that will be what I do.
Okay, who are you going to attack? Oh yeah, but you may not.
Rankin.
Rankin. Okay. Flat of your sword, or
Yeah, I think so.
so take a -2 to your attack roll.
Okay.
It's hard to hit somebody with the flat of a sword.
Okay. And that's already with a -4 because defensive, or is that?
Yep.
Okay. 6.
So you're just kind of waving it around, sort of in front of him, like kind of come at me because I'm in a good defensive stance, and I'm not that serious about hitting you.
Right. It's probably not the most intimidating thing ever.
Sorrow, what about you? Hey, Sorrow, you there?
Yep.
Oh,
So
sorry.
Morrain closed the distance, right?
Mm-hmm. You can too.
What is my weapon? A spear. Yeah, I'm going to. I'll do that. I'll close the distance. I think there's one of them that doesn't have somebody on them, right? There were three.
Yeah, there's
One
Yeah,
is
that was
one is
definitely great.
one's
So
been
clutching their
shot.
abdomen and bleeding everywhere.
one cousin
No,
is
his leg.
One is gurgling through his throat, making terrible noises. Man, dude, so
the arrow
unnecessary.
could have gone rogue and wandering around.
Actually, I just realized probably the first time I shot somebody. I'm probably gonna be traumatized after this, but okay.
You might be. We'll have to talk about this later.
Yeah.
Yes. So it wasn't Rankin. Was it?
Connell.
Connell. Yeah. I will attack Connell in melee using the
taking a
sharp
stand?
end of my spear.
Oh yeah. Are you going to try to do flat of your blade, or are you going to try to?
No, I'm going to try to get him in the neck if I can.
Okay. Damn.
These guys are up to no good. Their culty behavior. I don't know. People are going to die at some point. I think innocent people are going to die because of these guys. 19.
Holy.
Oh man, Connor was my friend, and he's no longer alive.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Sorry. He shouldn't have been so culty. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I would feel terrible in real life. Oh man. Everybody's wearing those same sort of culty robes. It's hard to tell who they are.
They're wearing the same clothes they left the village in.
That's to throw us off, obviously.
Roll your damage, please, Connell.
I do 6 points of damage.
I mean, 6. Is that how much you said?
6, yes.
Oh, wow.
You go right through Connell's abdomen. As he kind of gets off balance, trying to defend himself with your spear, with his spear, and he almost falls into your spear. Have you ever killed anybody before, Sorrow?
No, I have not. I've definitely thought about it a few times, but never actually killed anything. I don't think more than like large rabbits and stuff.
You know who has also never seen anybody next to him die before or get run through with a spear before is Rankin, who drops his spear and starts to just bolt. You can try to stop him if you would like to, but his brother is calling out, kind of in a panic. And what do you do? I'm pointing at my screen, but you have no idea who I'm pointing at. It's not like
in the future, though.
What do you do there, Morrain?
I go after him.
He's moving away from you. You're moving to pursue. Are you? What's your intent? To strike him, or to grapple him, or to?
I'm not sure I have an intent other than like stop him and find out what the hell is going on with these people. Which honestly I could probably find out from Tad. but that would probably be easier. But no, I think it's I think I'm just trying to stop him.
Lethally or non-lethally?
Non-lethally.
All right, so you're just gonna like pounce on him and make him stop?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I for all that I'm fond of picking fights, I don't really follow through on the whole killing thing.
So you bound forward. Roll strength.
5.
Nice. 1 second. I'm gonna check something real quick. You get him. And he just sort of whimpers, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me.
Right. Just like twist his arms behind his back and kind of haul him up and drag him back to the others.
Nicely done.
And then kind of look around like, okay, what do I do with them?
Now we ask him questions.
The lizard folk look at Rankin with special contempt.
Because he ran.
That could, yeah, that could be it right there.
After you hear Garen mutter like, "Let him take me, not him. Let him take me, not him." After you also see there are two people who are sort of bleeding out.
So we've got who took the spear?
Connell, who's going to need attention very, very fast, as is Gratis.
And Gratis took the arrow.
Right.
Okay. Well, only got 2 healing salves left.
Don't use
them.
that.
Use them on the.
No, just wave your hands over them.
Cultist.
Say a prayer or something. Thoughts and prayers, man. That's good enough.
Oh no.
So
we're gonna miss those things. So.
Yeah, I think. Well,
you sound like a Republican now. Sorry.
I think Afra has got
this, but you can try to stop the bleeding. You use your salves.
What exactly do so I have some healing herbs.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do those do?
I mean,
obviously
you can definitely make a wisdom check to see if you can sort of like stop the bleeding and sort of pack the herbs into to stop any infections.
Okay, let's try that.
But it wouldn't the healing herbs are great for stopping infections and curing diseases, not so awesome at closing wounds.
Well, so I rolled a 6 on my wisdom check, so.
Who are you looking at?
Connell
or Gratis?
I think Connell.
Okay.
I'm guessing the spear to the gut's probably worse than the arrow to the leg.
It looks bad, you think? But when he turned, it kept it from going pretty deep.
Okay.
You don't see anything that looks like an intestine. Though he will bleed if you do not tie him up. If you do not like stop the bleeding, he will die.
I don't have.
And you're also worried that even if you stop the bleeding, he may get an infection.
Okay.
So, but you know what to do with like his shirt. You can sort of repurpose his own shirt.
Okay. So if I can do that, I will go ahead and kind of I don't know, use his shirt as I don't know, to pack the wound or whatever I need to do, and then I'll go ahead and use the healing herbs as well to prevent any infection to the wound.
What do we do with
While
all
you
these?
were doing that, Lylani, what are you doing? You just shot somebody who's now looking like they're going to die.
Yeah, I think I'm experiencing a range of emotions. I think I walk over and honestly, like, I'm horrified at like sort of like what I've done, right? Like I never liked Gratis, but you know, I've never shot anyone before, at a person, and like, yeah, he looks really badly hurt. But then I think about like how he was like roughing up Tad, and I don't want to like show weakness, so I kind of just bury that sense of regret and just try to act tough. And I put my foot on his leg and I yank my arrow out.
Waste not, want not.
He starts to scream.
Yeah.
When starts to look like he's going to scream weakly when a lizard folk foot sort of comes down over his mouth.
Oh.
And one of the lizard folk pick him up. And they you can see with one hand they're sort of blocking his mouth, and the other hand they're sort of fishing out his cult symbol.
Like around his neck?
Yeah.
The same deal? Okay.
There's two of them. There's one that has sort of a kind of a loose blue sort of silk, sort of decorative, like half tunic thing, kind of just down over its waist, and upper body, heavily beaded, and one that just sort of has like a lot of beadwork sort of worked into its own sort of back. At first you think it's the scaling, but then as you realize as it gets closer, it's got sort of beads. The beads have been placed there. They're artificial beads, or they're not part of its skin. But is otherwise not wearing anything. It's the one that's definitely not wearing anything. And that's the one that's sort of roughly handling Gratis. The other one sort of points at the arrow in your hand and points at the wound in his leg, and gives you a slight bow and a half pat, half slug on the shoulder.
Definitely a warrior culture.
And they rip the Thanatos symbol off of Gratis's neck, and they start walking him and the symbol over to the edge of the cliff.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Do we intercede?
Afra, you're busy. You're not really seeing this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that Morrain basically ran down, right?
No, this is the other guy. This is the guy. Not Afra shot. No, I'm doing it. Shot.
I apologize.
The Lylani shot.
Again, we don't look alike. Like,
The names aren't remotely similar. I don't know.
Your characters aren't similar.
No.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, he's so he's in agony. He's got a hole in his leg.
Morrain, and I feel like other than Lylani, Morrain and Constant could intervene if they would, if one of the three of you would like to. Afra, you're not really going to see this. You are intent on Connell.
I guess we have to. Don't know what we're gonna do with all these people. I guess take them back. I don't know. I'm not thinking that far ahead. Yeah, I'll just kind of like run up and kind of like get in front of the lizard people just to kind of like wait, stop. We'll take him back to. You don't have to kill him.
Gratis is looking pretty pale at this point.
Who is?
Gratis, the one they're carrying. So there's a trail of blood between where they picked him up and where you are now.
That's not great.
And Afra is pretty busy.
I mean, well, I guess I have to get them to let him go first and then figure out how to make a tourniquet. That's definitely going to go great.
Shara, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm going to pretend that I don't see the body tossing party go by and focus on the guy that's still alive with the bloody tip of my spear. And say, if you wish, if you don't wish to go over the side of this mountain, then you better start giving us answers.
Lylani, anything you're doing? Internally or externally?
Right. I think I'm struggling with what my what my duty or responsibility like is here. But I think I'm going to turn away. I'm not going to intervene. It's up to, if Morrain wants to be the hero, then that's up to her. I think I'm going to start looking for Tad. Like where's Tad?
Morrain, go ahead and make a charisma check.
7.
Nice.
They both sort of sigh through their nostrils, and you see their nostrils flare, and they put the dying Gratis down at your feet. But the one with the beadwork takes the ripped away holy symbol and throws it over the edge.
That's completely fine. Yeah, and
What's your plan right now?
Yeah, try to rig up some sort of tourniquet or bandage or something out of this guy's shirt or belt or whatever, and figure out how to reopen the portal and get all these people back, and then figure out what the hell to do with them.
This is going to be tough. I'm not going to let you use fortune points, and
Okay.
I'm going to make you roll twice and take the
Okay.
worst, because he is pretty far gone. But roll your wisdom.
Oh boy, he's so gonna die. 3, which is good. 15, no.
It was just his time. That's all.
Almost 3.
Just
3 would have done, but
You get the
15 was not.
tourniquet
My wisdom was
on.
9.
And Gratis sort of reaches up just as you get the tourniquet on and sort of pats you on the side of the head, just in an almost gentle way. Morrain, and then he looks at you and says, "This doesn't mean that you're not a traitor."
Oh.
Okay.
I'll punt that guy.
Sandulf
Yeah.
will be here with the army very soon. And I will be with them in spirit to see you and all the monsters die.
Randolph.
Give my body to Elba. And then he's gone. You got the tourniquet on, but he had just lost way too much blood.
Who's up? Oh, yeah, no, out of the widow, right? Okay. Oh.
Yeah, there's been no sign of Elda, has there?
Not yet. What are you guys doing with your prisoners?
Asking questions forcefully. Why were they taking prisoners? What is their goal? What are they doing up here?
They initially tried to start the whole thing with like, we came and then the lizard folk attacked us and took us prisoner.
Yeah, we don't buy that.
Yeah, why did they take you prisoner?
And the lizard folk start tapping on the holy symbols.
Yeah.
Which all of them are wearing. Except the ones that have already been ripped off and tossed away.
How about Tad?
Tad has one, but he almost, if he could help you pull it off his neck, he looks relieved as soon as it's off.
Okay.
And he's just trying not to cry.
Yeah, I'm taking Tad like over to the side, and I'm like comforting him as best as I'm able to.
he as soon as you get him off, he just starts sobbing and just like, don't let them kill Trey. Don't let them kill Trey.
All right, I won't let them throw Trey off the cliff, I promise. But I'm only doing that for you. Otherwise,
thank you. My dad made me come.
Yeah, do you know where your dad is right now?
Probably going to Tarkiln to start preaching there.
Oh, great. The next town over?
He wants us to take, he and Elba want us to take Thracia back from the monsters. And he sort of looks at the lizard people.
These guys seem pretty okay, actually.
They're not human. That's what he says.
They seem easier to deal with than your dad's, to be honest.
He has no response to that.
I'll say.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what's with the symbols? Why?
No, the widow Elba said is an old god.
Yeah, it's the god of death. Why would anyone?
She said it, the sign of the god of death rose the old human kingdom to glory. Destruction of his enemies, stuff like that. I don't know. Sometimes your parents are into stuff and they just make you go.
Yeah, it's hard to be mad at him when he says that because it's so true.
Yeah, but you could have told me about it. I mean,
no, I was specifically told I couldn't tell you about it.
That's exactly the stuff that you have to tell me. Like,
Ray told me not
Tad.
to tell you.
Yeah, that's. I'm very disappointed, but I'm going to keep that to myself. I won't tell Tad.
So, what do we do? Pull them back? Like try to open the portal from this side, and I don't know, lock them up in the widow's house, or I don't think we should just
Wasn't
let them.
Sandolph preaching just after the fires?
Yeah.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
So if we take these people back to the village, I mean, are we basically just returning them to more cultists and they'll just be back up here shortly?
Do
we know anyone in the village who definitely is not a cultist? How about the elders?
Your parents.
Oh yeah. And we haven't seen Hilda either. Or did she get away? Did we?
She got
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she and the elders are probably not cultists.
Look, if you
possibly in danger.
Yeah, true.
If you send them back, the rest of the cult will be with my dad. They're going to go to Tarkel and they're going to come here.
Do we know what happened to our dog friend Amos?
He said he would meet you back here
at the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I wonder if we could tie him up somewhere around here. You're kind of like out of. Yeah, the prisoners, like tie him up, like in one of these like abandoned like ruin thingies, sort of out of the way, and then come back for them. Maybe
under a tree. Be badly sunburned.
We don't. I mean, we don't know who else is here in the ruins, though.
That's true.
More of these cult people, or more of the lizard people.
The reptoids look like they might throw these guys over the edge as soon as we walk away.
Well, if we don't see it, then
that is true.
I mean, they're clearly under the influence of something. I don't think we should just let them be killed for it.
Okay, well then go ahead, sorry.
I mean, the wounded are the wounded guy is going to die, so it might be worth trying to send him back through the mosaic.
Actually, he looks like he's stabilizing. I mean, at least he's not going to die in the next. I mean, you've got him sort of bound up, Afra. He's going to sleep for a while, but he's going to need a lot of water and a lot of food.
It might still be worth trying to see if the mosaic will take us back, taking these, I guess, prisoners to the elders, and I mean, letting them know what we found, if we think that they're on our side.
Yeah, but we know it's a fast. If it works, it's fast.
Yeah.
The only thing is, we have no idea. I mean, they could have stationed guards in that room. The minute we walk through, they stick us like a pincushion.
It's also not super fast, right? Because it was like a 4 or 5 hour delay or something, right?
Oh, good point. There is a weird delay. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also try to send them back through without going.
Yeah, I like the idea of sending the injured guy through because it'll tie them up a little bit. And he needs
just like push him through first.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting to see. Yeah. But the guy that's
Tad looks at you and it's just like, if you just send Trey back, and then I'll help you.
You mean like if we don't send Trey back, you're not going to help us?
I'll have to like make sure he doesn't like die of thirst or something.
Yeah, no, we're going to take care of Trey.
At which
Not
one he
in-
looks terrified.
not
Yeah.
that way. Like, you know, make sure that he
Eyes have
doesn't.
turned black by now. I'm like, yeah, let's take care of him.
No one
I
else
mean, make sure that he
understands
doesn't,
it.
you know, what's that?
No one else understands Trey.
Yeah, I really don't see what you see in that guy, but we're not going to get into that right now. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try to send the injured guy first, right?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, why not?
We can't take care of him, and if we want him to live, this is the only chance. Plus, it might tie up the enemy with an injured person, which is good.
Assuming there's anybody on the other side.
Right. I think there's got to be. They know that we know about the portal now, so I don't know. Well, here's going. I'll cut my hand, and I will, put it on the mosaic, and get some help to move the injured guy over onto it. Does he go through?
He goes through.
Okay. All right.
All right, who's next?
Yeah. What do we do with our uninjured prisoner?
Does any
We
of
set
them
the rest
seem
of
like
the-
they might cooperate with us? I guess Tad.
Trey's like, doesn't matter what you do with us, we're going to get rescued. And you will be punished.
Shut up, Trey.
These horns aren't just decorative, you know.
So I pat my pocket ominously, looking at Trey, and I think Trey knows what that means, which is that I have a very embarrassing piece of poetry that he wrote. And I broke into his room and I stole his poetry. It's not just one poem, it's like a whole book of really, really bad poetry. And this would completely destroy like any of like the street cred that he's accumulated over the years.
Thanks,
And
you love poetry from when he was 11.
yeah.
Poetry written too.
The poetry, that's a good question. I mean, some of it is just like doesn't have a specific like recipient. It's just like, whatever, just gushing about like nature and stuff. But no, you're right. There needs to be some love poetry in there.
Starting to think this guy is surprisingly talented. I don't know. He's very creative. He's trying. He's producing something.
I'll bet there's an early one in there about Lylani.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah. He would hate that. Yeah, okay. Yes. There's some love poetry to me. Oh my God, which is also why I can't let Tad see it, because that would be really crushing for him.
Super awkward.
That would be awkward. But yeah, so like I'm just gonna like pat my pocket and glare at him, because yeah, if he doesn't mind, maybe we should keep him rag. So how does he rag? Like, does he sort of quiet down, or
he looks at you and just sort of like, I think he mouths something like, you will suffer the most. But he doesn't say anything, and he turns away from you.
Let's push this idiot through, but we're keeping Tad, right? He's going to help us out.
Are we going through at some point, or not?
I think we should stay up here. I don't know. What do you guys think? And we haven't even had a chance to really explore what's up here, and if Ahmad, the dog person, is going to maybe meet us up here.
I mean, if we push these guys through, though, they're just gonna
It's true, but we sent 3, 4 other people down the path. They're gonna rejoin forces against us.
Yeah.
You know, it's the curse. It's the curse of the fact that we have a conscience and they don't.
Tad will tell you that his father is probably already in Tarkelm.
Right, so he's otherwise occupied. Buy us a little bit of time. We could also, I could distract Tad, and someone could whack Trey on the back of the head, and then shove him through. That way, he's also sort of out of commission for a little while.
Oh yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
I could whack him in the back of the skull with the tip of my spear if you want me to. Just
no, something flat.
Something flat. Okay.
Block him on the chin.
Yeah, probably Morrain's sword might be the best thing, I think, for that.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Why not? With no effort to kill him here.
Make a charisma check.
Charisma check. Okay.
Not you. Sorry, Lylani. You are trying to get Tad not to look at Trey.
Right. Which is not, that's not easy to do. That's a good point. I rolled a 1. That's a critical success, right?
Yeah, I think that gives you guys a golden opportunity, and I'm not going to make you do any more rolls to get Trey out of the picture.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, I'll knock him upside the head and shove him onto the mosaic.
Enjoy your concussion. Bye.
I've
kind of always wanted to do that, so...
Do you send anybody else back? Are you sending everybody else back, or
who else is left? Isn't it just
you had
there's a bunch.
The twins and Zinnia.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Now wait. Okay. How are so all those people who were missing? These are the people who were missing, or were there more who aren't accounted for yet?
Who are missing.
Okay. I think these people have been kidnapping or recruiting more people. We don't want that to happen again. So, the last thing we want is send them through so they can grab a bunch more people and haul them back here.
Afra, Grannis looks at you and just says, "If you send us back, I won't let him. I won't let him."
Won't let.
What do you mean?
He looks at his twin.
Right, Garen's the good one.
Oh, Garen.
So maybe...
Sorry, I missed. Did not read my own writing.
Did he make you come here?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, it's my responsibility that I'm here.
So you chose to be here.
Didn't force me, but I knew it was a bad decision.
And how are you going to stop him if you go back?
And what about Trey and Xenia? Are you going to stop all three of them?
Garen looks down at his hands and is like, I'm a little bit bigger than he is. Also, who did... Also, I saw Morrain kick his ass.
All right.
I have an idea. I'm going to arm him.
Great.
Garen?
No? Yeah. I trust him. I believe him.
Sure. Starts with a dagger, then it's swords, then it's halberds and crossbows. Where does it end?
There's the warrior.
I would be like, you know what? You're gonna need this, and I got a bunch of daggers, and they're hidden all over my body. So I'm gonna choose the one from one of the more obscure locations.
How is that even possible?
Right. Everyone's gonna be like, what the?
How did we not see that?
Because I'm a seamstress, and so I can make all these really cool sheaths and things like that. So I'm just gonna pull a dagger out of nowhere, and I'm gonna hand it to Garen, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna need this. Keep an eye on them, and then boom, push him through.
He's like, was this in your arm?
That's right.
And then you shove him through. And what do you do with Zinnia, who is looking at you rather haughtily and refusing to speak?
Yeah, see, I don't think we should send multiple healthy cultists with the premise of one cultist to stop all of them. That doesn't seem...
Well, we could leave her with our reptoid friends and just explain, prisoner,
Don't throw her over the cliff.
Right, no cliff. What do you guys think?
They listen?
Oh, it's hard to say.
They look to you. What are these hand motions and slow speech you use to communicate?
So is she tied up or bound or anything?
She can be.
Yeah, she is bound.
Okay.
They still got her tied up.
I want to try to force her to the ground so that she's sitting on the ground if she's not already.
Yeah, she's. You can get her down to the ground.
Okay. And once she's on the ground, I'm gonna point to her and kind of point to the ground as if to say she stays here, and then point towards the cliff and just shake my head and wave my arms. No.
They do this. They do. And then they do no cliff. And they do. And they point to the cliff.
Yeah,
So I turn to everybody else and I say, it's probably the best we're going to get.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Zinnia, your terrible attitude has earned you a cooling off period with our reptoid friends. You could have gone home, but no, you had to be so haughty.
Martyrdom for the future of civilization.
Ugh.
We sure we don't want to toss her over the cliff.
No, we should let him.
Yeah.
keep that up and tell them just go ahead and throw you over the cliff.
A time my family's house was truly great.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Time those fools can't even remember.
So I'm gonna shake my head and make some sort of kind of gracious gesture to the reptiles. Maybe kind of just bow my head to them, as if to say thanks for watching this.
They
Yeah.
bow, and once again, they sort of like, are you still displaying your holy symbol?
Yeah, I think I've had out the whole time to kind of
Yeah,
remind
they
them.
sort of like run their snout rills along, or at least the lead one does, along your holy symbol. The kind of that bony plate around the center of the snout.
Before we walk away, I'm going to take the sock that was in Tad's mouth and I'm putting it in Xenia's mouth. Like, just kind of.
Good plan.
She glares at you.
Yes.
Yeah, I pat her on the head.
I feel like this. Are we right in assuming that this particular location seems like nicely defensive? There's only one way in and out, right? Aside from the
I
mosaic.
mean, you would need to scout a little more, but it doesn't seem like there are wide paths up here. Anybody coming up here with a large group would need to like maybe single, maybe double file, or have some sort of method for climbing up
All right, good.
from some sort of lower point. I mean, that is the classic military error, to think that your enemies must go down the path as a. But it does not look like it doesn't look like people could just walk up here in large numbers. They would need to hike in a line or climb.
So it's safe to say that an army, well, one does not simply walk into the lost city of Thracia. Or actually, you could, but it would be double. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it just
Okay.
there's things that are easier to do with a small group. A 50-person group hike would be a stretch up here, getting up here. But
Yeah. All right. Good. Hopefully, that'll buy us some time.
Yeah.
I'd like to check out those buildings, but it's also getting kind of late in real time.
yeah. So I think the question is, are you going to keep poking around up here, or do you want to head down those stairs? Or you also, Lylani saw some other stairs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I will tell. Obviously, I share that information with the rest of the group.
I mean, do you guys think it's safe to assume it's all been looted up here? Or, I mean, it wouldn't take us that long to check out these buildings, right?
They are not. I mean, they're not like buildings. They are foundations.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe some pillars or whatever.
Yeah, there's some pillars. There's some outlines of where the walls were. There's some broken columns, but there's not like any intact buildings around.
I'm thinking
Okay.
the smaller stairs might be, since that there were definitely people down there. They might still
Oh, yeah, good point. That might be where the rest of the hostages are
be. Yeah.
and our enemies. Good
If they
idea.
were hostages, maybe.
Oh.
Also, no pulsing red light from
Yeah.
that one.
That too.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, probably won't.
Yeah, we could check that one out first.
All right.
So we'll tell you as we get ready for next week where we're leaving off. You're taking that side stair that Lylani found, or saw the crew that attacks you come up out of?
Yeah. B.
Are you just leaving Gratis's body up there? Quick question.
Do we want to throw him off the cliff? I mean, he's dead.
Now that he's dead,
He doesn't
the
care.
lizard did not
Yeah,
see
he's dead.
him.
Yeah.
And it would make our lizard friends really happy.
Could you let them
Yeah.
throw him off the cliff?
You'd be like, do you guys
They,
feel
they,
like throwing this?
now
off
that
the
he
cliff?
is dead, they do not seem the least bit interested in him.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Maybe just like hide it or something. I mean, I'm not gonna bury him. That's too much
Have time
time.
to like, yeah, bury him.
Oh, we
But-
could throw him through the mosaic. Let them worry about him.
We could do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
This is what
Now I have a
happens to
cultist
you
too. Ha ha
if
ha.
you-
There.
Wow.
Dead bodies do not actually pass through.
Oh,
Okay. That's good to
Ah.
know.
see the scientific method.
I'll get to drag him off to like some bushes, I think.
Okay. So we'll tell you, you go down the stairs. There are torches and sconces along the stairs.
Ah.
And the torches sort of fade out. And the last thing you see before we go to break, or before we break till next week, is there's sort of a fork. You kind of get to the end of the stairs, and you're walking along, and all of a sudden there's a ledge. And coming out from the ledge is a rope bridge going directly ahead of you, and a rope bridge going off to your right over this kind of giant chasm.
Oh.
And that is where we will end. We can do a quick sort of wishes and stars. Let me stop the